I've been watching Cisco make some interesting moves in AI. Most of what gets attention, of course, is the big infrastructure, the network level plays. And while most AI attention chases ever larger models, this one runs the other direction. A family of small language models built for one painfully specific job. A vulnerability advisory can tell a security team that there's a weakness that they need to investigate. It does not tell them where that weakness lives inside a large, unfamiliar code base. Anyone who has owned that work knows the feeling. Advisories keep arriving, and the team is drowning in triage before anyone even confirms which files are actually at risk. Somebody still has to search through that repository, inspect candidate files, and narrow the investigation to the code most likely to matter. And that work takes time, costs money, and demands security expertise that is already in short supply. Well, Cisco built Antares to help with that search. Give it a description of a known vulnerability and a body of code, and it ranks the files most likely to contain the weakness so an analyst knows where to look first. That is a narrow job. It's also a useful one. Antares can run locally without sending proprietary code to a cloud service. That's helpful. The models are small enough to require less computing power than the general purpose systems most of us associate with AI. And Cisco released them as open weight, allowing other people to download them, test them, and expose where they work, or maybe where they don't. An independent tester successfully reproduced Cisco's results. The tool held up, competing with models many times its size. That's good. But then they tried something slightly different. This one did not go as well. The test was simple. If Antares understood the difference between a real vulnerability and a fixed one, it should stop pointing at files once the fix was in place. They gave Antares the same repository after the bug had been patched, the logic being that there should be nothing left to flag. Antares kept pointing at files as if the flaws were still there. It knew how to keep searching. It did not reliably know when there was nothing left to find. Cisco's model team acknowledged the result. Fix verification was not yet the job Antares had been built to perform. The model was designed to answer, where should I look? The patched code test asked, is there anything left to find? Those questions sound related. They require different judgments. I don't see this as a reason to dismiss Antares. I do see it as one of the most interesting parts of the story. Cisco built a narrowly specialized model. It released the model so people outside the company could test it. Independent testers confirmed its strength, then ran the one test Cisco's benchmark already included but hadn't yet published. Patched code, where the honest answer is nothing to find. Cisco didn't get defensive. They confirmed the gap and said that teaching the model to say no is next on their list. Security has always been too broad for any one person to own. Why would we expect one AI to own it? I learned the human version of that lesson through TechWise TV. When we started the show in 2006, I was the security guy. That label made sense when each host had their own technology lane. But security covers a ridiculous amount of territory. The deeper we went into other subjects like networking, collaboration, wireless, data centers, the harder it became to pretend that one label described one body of expertise. Certain subjects pushed me much further outside what I actually knew. Data centers was a big one. My co-host Jimmy Ray Purser was an engineer's engineer, a savant who could retain and explain technology better than anyone I had ever and continue to have ever met. He understood new systems so quickly that by the time we recorded, his first moment of discovery was already old news to him. So I learned to watch for that first reaction, then help him reconstruct it for the rest of us when we were in front of the cameras. Jimmy Ray could horse me up on almost any technology. I could shape that understanding into a story and carry it through production. Neither of us had to pretend to be the other. One of many times it played out was our 2011 walkthrough of Cisco's Allen, Texas data center, a story I could not have carried alone. The work got bigger because the handoff worked. That is the standard I see hiding inside the Antares test. And it's something we all need to keep in mind. Doing one job well does not automatically confer authority over the next judgment. An AI tool can narrow the search. Someone still has to determine what the result means. Other tools and other experts still have to decide whether the vulnerability exists, whether the patch worked, or whether the software is safe to release. The danger begins when the surrounding system collapses all of those decisions into one confident answer from the model. And this matters beyond software security. An AI agent may be excellent at changing a network route approving a routine expense, modifying access, or even responding to a known incident. That competence does not automatically extend to the next decision simply because the next decision looks similar. A serious AI system needs more than a defined job. It needs evidence behind its recommendation, conditions under which it refuses to continue, and a clear path to someone or something with the authority to make the next call. Refusal is not failure when the requested judgment exceeds the job. Cisco's work with small language models points toward a future built from specialized capabilities that can be tested, measured, and connected. Not one big security expert expected to know everything, but connection requires boundaries. The handoff only works when the system can recognize that a handoff is needed. Intelligence gets attention, restraint earns authority. The next breakthrough may not be another AI that always has an answer. It may be a system that recognizes when the next answer belongs to someone else and when the right answer is none.